Well, hello there, I'm Jeremy and welcome back to Freeform Star Wars. We've got another episode of Bad Batch coming up really shortly, and hey, before that, here are my highlights for episode 11, Devil's Deal. And I'm gonna get number 12 out a little bit quicker than this for next week. So here we go, brief recap. First off, it was a big change of pace this time as we weren't following the Bad Batch at all, but instead the Syndulas. And we saw Cham, Eleni, and Hera over on Ryloth. Cham was striving for peace with the new Empire and encouraging the other Twi'leks to disarm, but the Empire was suspicious of Cham given his rebellious past, and, well, this would end up leading to an inevitable conflict. And Gobi, this time, was strongly opposed to trusting the Empire and even roped a young Hera into some of his plots, which then led to Hera meeting Omega when the Bad Batch brought weapons to a moon near Ryloth. And we also saw for the Empire both Crosshair and Admiral Rampart over on Ryloth. And also, we had a new character who has become a huge hit already, and that's Captain Hauser. In the end, Gobi, Hera, and the others were arrested for treason, and Cham and Eleni broke them out, only to end up getting Cham framed for the attempted murder of Senator Orn Free Taa. Whew, and that is where we ended this episode with a very implied to be continued, even if they didn't put it on the screen. So biggest surprise of the episode was easy. It's just how little the Bad Batch were in this one at all. Now, I'm happy about that because it means this show is willing to tell us stories within the Star Wars universe that are not only Bad Batch focused. So that opens up all kinds of storytelling possibilities. We could see a lot more things than we might have if every episode had to be at least 50% Bad Batch, let's say. Okay, top highlights for this episode, and I'll tell you off the bat, these are all pretty much very character-focused this time. Number 5 is Hera and Omega talking. That was a great moment between the two, and I do wonder if that might come back sometime later. Oh, heck, it might come back this very episode, but I kind of mean later. Number 4 for highlights would be getting to see Hera and Chopper. We got to see a lot of young Hera here, and even some of her conflicts with her father Cham as well. And these were nice pieces. And also with her mother, for that matter. We got a little of that relationship, being that her mother is, well, dead later on, dies not too much later. We might very well see that happen in Bad Batch. And then also, of course, everybody who loves Chopper, Chopper's back. This is a young Chopper, he doesn't have much of a kill count yet. Number 3 highlight, now this might be higher for some people, but it's number 3 for me, and this is Captain Hauser, who, wow, what a character that we've introduced this quick. And yeah, I love the character just off the bat. Definitely got a unique personality on him, another new clone, shall we say. And I'm really curious where we're going here, and I hope he doesn't die in this next episode, but I know it's possible. Highlight number 2 is expanding on Cham Syndulla and more early Imperial Ryloth lore. Now, seeing more Cham Syndulla was one of the things I hoped to go ahead and see here within Bad Batch, because Cham is one of the earlier people to start rebelling against the Empire, which, well, we're about to see that start happening right here. Actually, I guess we saw it at the end, but in a larger sense. And that also gives us a little bit of the Ryloth lore of what's happening in the early Imperial days, too. Those are really directly connected. Cham and Ryloth in the early Empire, you can't talk about them without talking about each other. So yeah, definitely happy to see this, hoping to see much more, and I'm betting we will. And my number 1 highlight here, that is Gobi getting a ton of character development. Gobi back, especially in Rebels time period, didn't impress me enough. He just wasn't a well enough rounded character for me. But this Gobi right here, just from one quick little episode of Bad Batch, whoa, I'm getting a much better idea of who he is as a character, his individuality, rather than simply a follower of Cham. And oh, I love this Gobi. Where's that Gobi later? Well, anyway. Oh, very nice. Very nice. So yeah, some of the emotions on this one, I love this episode. Really like working free of our normal constraints. There were some great emotional beats, family beats in here, new friendship beats. And also, I will tell you, they had me at first with Senator Orn Free Taa, to the point that I actually head scratched a little when they first said attempted murder. That's a kill shot. But then they said attempted murder, and it's like, oh, okay, I gotcha. Clever. Couple theories for the future. Let's add these. First off, What we're seeing with Captain Hauser points toward two possible things. Either a high level of variance in how well the chips control the clones, or that control wears off over time. Now I think it's quite likely it's actually a combination of both of those two. And this will lead all the more to an expected clone rebellion on Kamino, which I think will happen in Season 2. And another theory, having seen Omega and Hera talk here, I am gonna bet that we will see them interact again at least a decade or more in the future. I'm betting Omega survives the end of Bad Batch. I don't think the rest of them will, but I think she will at this point, and it's gonna be really fun to see Omega and Hera later on. We're already talking about how much I'm expecting to see Omega and Boba, but yeah, also Omega and Hera. With that, those are my top highlights from the 11th episode of the Bad Batch. A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one. And hey, with that, what about you? What were your favorite moments from the 11th episode? Who was your favorite character that we just saw for the first time in the Bad Batch? Let me know down below in the comments. And let me also give a quick thank you to all my wonderful patrons. Always appreciate it. And if you're interested in helping support the channel, link in the description. And to everyone out there, thank you so much for watching. It really helps out if you give the video a like, a share, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you back here next time for another new episode of Freeform Star Wars. Have a magical day, and may the Force be with you. Always.